While our media were finding ways not to say Steve Bannon sucks his own cock, our troops were kicking ISIS ass with help from our allies, the Kurds. Most Americans couldn't find Kurdistan on a map, but for once, it's not because we're dumb. The Kurds are the largest ethnic group in the world without their own country. At least 25 million. Suck it, Andalusians! The Kurds have suffered through wars, attempted genocide, decades of indifference from the United States, and constantly being referred to as Iraq's Canada. But as I learned when I went there, Kurds are finding hope in an unlikely place. A very, very, very unlikely place. I traveled to northern Iraq to learn more about the people who live there, the Kurds. Most Americans don't know anything about Kurdistan, but the Kurds have a lot of opinions about us.
من كم وقت سياسة أمريكا بتجورك كالبرجون دي خوات.
جورج بوش، كلينتون، جورج واشنطن، كل همه وكل فكره بأنه يسيطر على العالم فقط.
What do you think about this one?
هذه حاليا أول مرة أشوف صورتها.
Okay.
I love George Bush.
George W. Bush.
Forever.
Do you have any opinions about Jeb Bush?
Jeb?
Jeb.
I don't understand.
They have another brother.
Another brother? No, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Nobody knows Jeb. Please clap. Let's talk about Kurdistan. Let's talk about Donald Trump.
أو برياراني كتاجلانة ديدا. خوش يوسي ترام لوده.
You like Donald Trump? What do you think about him?
أكيد الشعب الكردي كله بيحبه ويحترمه وأكثر ما من كان يحترمون أوباما.
Okay. Huh? What is going on here? Do the Kurds really like President Muslim ban more than they like President Muslim? Introduce us to your baby.
أو كرما ترامب قديمه بيدلهم ترامب.
Hey Trump, you're so cute. What happens if I tussle his hair? Is that normalizing him? Is that normalizing you? They love Trump. Okay. Are we in the middle of making Samantha Bee's first and probably last ever Trump-positive field piece? Let's do it. What do you admire about Donald Trump?
كسجي رجل متطور، رجل تجاري.
سوى هواية شغل وهواية أعمال حلوة يعني.
كسي شي خرابين بلاقي ما كسي شي زور شايستين لبو همو نقلبوا أمريكا. قلت همو جامبي وسيبة ترامب بتشوف.
The last pro-Trump panel I did not look like this.
والله يزور مصارعة كان أنت مشاهدة كم مصارعة كان قديمة وشي.
Why do the Kurds love our first WWE president so much? Why are they the only people outside of Russia that his presidency gives hope to?
دبابات ومدرعات إلى الديمقراط السوري. هسه السند الظهر القوي إنه
كردستاني كلو شايست لو ولاطاني كشايستي دولتي. تنها إما بشتيوانية شي شخصي يوكو ترامب.
To be fair, giving people their independence is kind of Trump's superpower. And he's given the Kurds something already.
The president authorized the Department of Defense to equip Kurdish elements of the Syrian Democratic Forces as necessary to ensure a clear victory over ISIS in Raqqa, Syria.
No president has ever armed the Kurds directly, even when Saddam was murdering them with chemical weapons. But the Kurds are aware that President Forloco is just using them as mercenaries in the war against ISIS, right? I'm not convinced that he really knows what the Kurds are all about.
إما زور تأكيد إنه كترامب زور باشيل لملتي كورتيا دقا.
Okay, I think there's a 95% chance that he thinks you're made of cheese. I'm just gonna lay it out there. I think that's true.
تركيا نوبل.
Right.
إيران نوبل.
Right.
He don't like Kurdistan is a دولة.
So you think Donald Trump is your best chance?
أي.
So when Donald Trump went to black people and said, "What have you got to lose?" I mean, that is really true for you. No one else was going to do it. Why not Donald goddamn Trump?
أقولي لا دا أشوف شيء بهالحركات أحس بعصبية من كلامه.
Oh, you guys are talking about what? What's going on?
بالإنجليزي.
Shrill.
Trail. You trail?
I can be. The Kurds aren't stupid. Surely they know Trump changes his mind more often than he changes communications directors. Why would people who've endured so much instability trust our least stable president?
ترامب بخص كابلاي زور شتا هاريانيا شتا زور تجركا للعيشة تيوانا.
So the thing you love about Trump is that he's crazy enough to do almost anything. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he nuked California, but he also might help create an independent Kurdish state. So, you never know.
know what you're gonna get. That's okay. Why be predictable? My voice is getting hysterical. And the asabiya. Oh.
If the one good thing that comes out of the Trump presidency is that he makes the Kurds feel hopeful about their state, well, that's one more good thing than I anticipated. And if the Kurds' read on Trump is as good as their read on me, it really gets me. I do love swag. Maybe everything's gonna be okay. But I did have one last question about Trump, specifically this Trump. Why do you call your baby Trump?
والله عصبية زور عصبية هي اللي يدتي زور كشلية من حركتنا بوغس كافي خير.
The similarities are stunning. He needs Fox and Friends. Stat. It's just like the real one. Show him something shiny.
We'll be right back.